Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain Exchange. I'm here to teach beginners how to get started in China painting and also to get those of you that have been painting a while back into painting some more. So today we're going to be working on lures. These take a lot longer than you would think. This class, I think, is going to be important to people who are new to China painting because we're going to talk about the order that you put the paint on. And it's so hard to be able to put paint on in the right order so that your yellows don't burn out, your reds don't burn out, and that kind of thing. So let's start with looking at what I've done. This is the mug that I've done. Now, it may not look like much at this point. It doesn't probably look like it has two fires on it, but it does. And the reason it has two fires on it already is because there are certain colors you can't put on at the same time. So I put on my yellows or my reds, and then the next time if there was red and yellow together, I put on the opposite color so that it, doesn't burn out. How do you test your colors to know if you've got the right kind of colors? How do you know that your yellows and your reds are going to mix? Those are probably the two that are the hardest. The yellow and reds can be done on a tile. And here I have Albert yellow all the way across, mixing yellow all the way across, and egg all the way across. Now, I don't have egg anymore, but obviously egg did the best in mixing with oranges, like poppy over here, poppy, and then Persian red in the middle. And then on this side, I did yellow red. And it looks like yellow red of all my colors held up best with all of the yellows. So that's important too. And that's something that you want to test before you get started on anything. Colors for today are going to be kind of everything, anything you want them to be. I have mixing yellow on here, but like I said, if you looked at this tile, my test tile, it would have been egg, because egg is probably the color that mixes the best with the reds and the oranges and everything. I have mixing yellow because I'm out of egg. Carnation, which I didn't have when I was doing my test tile. And then I have black, moss green, darkest green, or you can use black green, and you can use anything that's close. Like if you don't have moss green, but you have grass green, that's fine. If you have chartreuse, that's fine. I have an orange there, which is called South Brown. You can use any kind of an orange. I also have blood red, Copenhagen. I have Tahiti. I'm going to put Tahiti on in the second firing, and that would be if you have a blue-green, that would be a blue-green. And then I have the Copenhagen gray, but you really could use just about any color with that Copenhagen gray. It doesn't have to be Copenhagen gray. And you're going to need a lot of small brushes and small wipeout tools. So you're going to need like a number 2, maybe a Pico-Pay wipeout. This is a 1/4 inch. I have a itty bitty one. This is a 5 zeros, and this is my scroller. And then I also have these pointed Q-tips, and I also have my smallest of my stumps, because that could also work for you. I didn't use it so much on this though. Alrighty, it's probably going to take me 4 fires to finish this. I've got the 2 fires done now, and then I'm going to do this in a brown and do this in a brown, and I may have to do it in 2 browns, 2 coats to really get it dark enough. But that's all that's left on this. Alrighty. I'm going to be demonstrating this on a tile. And I kind of did it because I thought I could always put it on this. And, you could hang it on a wall in a study or something like that. So I thought, well, I'll paint it on this. Also, it's flat. If you're painting on a mug, it's really difficult to demonstrate on a mug. I took and put little letters by it. So this guy's going to be red. This guy up here is going to be, he's blue, he's red, just so that I know which of the lures I'm working on. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to start with this guy up here. He's blue. And initially on mine, I put a Copenhagen blue down. I kind of did that because I wanted kind of an undercolor there. And then I used gray for all of the silver that you see there. So I'm taking my Copenhagen blue. And with this guy, I learned that you paint along the side like this. This is good. You can even paint over the eye or around the eye, whatever you want to do. You can paint the whole thing if you want. I wished I had done this on mine the first time. Let me just smooth that out a little. Okay. And then you can lift the center section of it to give you the highlight. You can just do a little bit of lifting there of color. There we go. And that will give you the highlight down the center. Okay. And then you go back with your blue and kind of touch that up. This is really, really simple stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're working on this as a gift, this is a simple one to do. And if you want to get the color out in the middle, you can also use a Q-tip, and it will help you lift up any color that's there. Because what we want is a highlight down the middle of this so that it looks like it's shining. There, get a little more color there, a little more color up the tail. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to use my, my little number 2 with gray, Copenhagen gray on it, to do my little fins that are on here. And I'm just going to do them in a solid color this time. Next time, I'm going to take and add a little black to it so that it has a shadow on one side. And I got a little out of the line there, so anytime you get out of the line, just take your Q-tip and fix it up. And then down here, it's the same thing. This is another one of those little fins. So you're going to do it in gray. And on this guy, the bottom is a loop, and this is a loop. So those loops I'm doing in blacks. So I'm going to hold off on the black and just load the black and do it all at once. This next guy is red. Now he's kind of a multicolored guy, so you have to do him in kind of stages. So I'm going to start out with using my 1/2-inch brush. I'm going to put carnation on it. Now he's this guy here. Let me show you. He's that one. Okay. So you can see he's going to have a solid color. He's going to have speckles. He's even going to have a little pink. Oh, forgot to tell you, you need pink. Okay. So I take the red. This is carnation. It turns out really great. So if you have it. And I found I was trying to use smaller brushes, but I found that if I use the bigger brush, I actually got the paint on a little more even and a little better. And then down here, the red's going to come up partially, and then here like that. And then it's going to become polka dot. Pink that I have here is a soft pink. This is my scroller. I'm going to even that out first, and I'm going to even this out. There we go. And then I'm going to start putting in my little polka dots. If you find a really good scroller that you can stay on the tip of, it will make this a lot easier. You want a little bit of a white band down the middle. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I want that band to be over a little more, so I'm gonna do that because it's too close and I can't get the white band in there. Okay, and I'm gonna do it again. And that's what you do if you find it a problem that you can't correct. You just go on. You want a little there, and then you want a little here, all the way along. And a white band down the middle. Okay. And you can use the tip of your Q-tip to sort of help with that a little bit. There we go. And we'll just put a few more here. Then I'm going to clean my 1/4-inch brush. And I'm going to use my pink, my soft pink. And that goes along this side. It won't show up this time, but it will show up the next time. So just go ahead and put it in. Alrighty. And then again, you can use your Q-tip to clean up where you maybe should have. There we go. Okay. I'll do the black later. I'm going to do the silver, the gray now as if it were silver. If you have silver, that would be great. You might want to use that, but for me, the gray seems to work just fine. Okay. Alrighty, so that's that guy. Now we'll do the black all at once because it just seems like it makes more sense. And you go from, if you're right-handed, go from left to right. If you're left-handed, go the opposite direction, okay? The next lure is this little guy. Now it has yellow around here, so I'm going to do this whole thing in yellow. And then I'm going to fire it, and then I'll put the green over it. Same thing here. I'll just put the yellow there. And then it has black down in here. Oh, can you see that? Black. I'm sorry, red down in there. So look at your picture and do the best you can with it. Because these are all, each one is a little bit different. And some are easy to do and some aren't. Oops, hang on a second here. I missed a couple of dots right in here that would really make a difference. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start with him, and we're going to paint him entirely. Oops, got to get the red off. Now, this is where doing things in a certain order is so important. I'm taking my mixing yellow, and I'm just going to paint this whole part mixing yellow. Now you think, oh, okay, well, why is she doing that? Because there's other colors in there. Well, you can put mixing yellow under a green without much problem. But if you want those blotches around the dark green that we're going to put on here to be yellow, you have to have yellow underneath. So I started with yellow. And I'm going to put it wherever it needs to be on here. So it also needs to be down this side. It needs to be around his eye. And up over the top here a little bit. And then a little bit up in here. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to take my number 2 brush. I'm going to dip it into the darkest green. And I'm going to start replicating those blobs that you see up there. And you're going to have to just keep adding darkest green. Don't get too thick, but you do want it to stand out. And those blobs are real uneven, so it shouldn't matter what you do. Okay. And then along the side here, it's like that. And I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm not going to take a long time to do it because it's pretty simple. And on the second coat, with second fire, you'll darken this. So you can put it on a little lighter if you're afraid that it might chip off if it's too heavy. And then here we have a big open mouth almost. So let me get that here. There we go. Okay. I'm going to continue to use my number 2, and I'm going to go into my moss green, and I'm going to do this. Now on the second coat, we will be putting moss green over the yellow, and it will be fine because there, you know, green has blue and yellow in it, so it should be fine. Okay, there we go. And then the mouth here is red, but it's a really deep red. So I would say if you have blood red, you should probably use it. This is a good time to do that because the blood red will make it really stand out. So I'm painting in the mouth right now with the blood red. And you have to dip and dip a couple of times just to get it dark enough, I think. But like I said, don't get any buildup. Just you want it dark, and then we'll do the black in a minute when we actually do the black on all of them. Now he has a little orange here, and I do have some orange that I can put on. And he has a little orange up in here. So if you feel comfortable putting the orange on now, you can, or you can fire it and put it on later. Alrighty, moving on to this guy. He's so simple. He's so simple. I'm going to use my 1/4 inch brush, and I'm just going to make him yellow. There we go. And then down at the bottom, he's red. So he's this little guy right here. I think you can see him. He's that guy. He's very, very simple to do. So, yeah. So I'm going to take and put carnation over this. Come on, carnation. And his mouth is a little bit turned sideways. He has like a little mouth on him, so you do have to paint that in, but then you're going to probably outline it with black later. And the top of him is silver. So this up here is silver. So I'm using my gray for my silver. And we'll do his eyes in a minute. Okay, let's move this guy up. This guy is particularly sensitive to doing colors in a certain order. Okay, so this is how I did it, and it's up to you if you want to do it this way or not. I started with yellow on the far side of him, which is this side here, the belly, and I painted the yellow in because it's going to be next to black, which is not a problem. Let me make sure I've got a nice clean yellow there for him. Yeah, it's the only problem with painting over some of these markers. They sometimes will interfere with what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, now the next streak here is black. I don't put the black on next because I'm a little bit concerned that if I put the black on next, when I put the red on, it's going to cause a problem. So I'm going to start with my carnation, and I'm going to paint it all red. Yeah, let me go to the 1/4 inch brush. I think it'll work a little better. It's a little thick for the paint. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to bring it down and bring it down here. And then I still have a streak of yellow and a streak of black to put there. But if you look on the drawing, you'll see that it has like little, almost like little, what look like doves and things, birds and things on it. Can you see that right there? The red? See how he has all those markings? I'm not going to paint him in at this time, but I am going to wipe them out so that the next time I paint him, I can put in the yellow and it won't bleed into the red. And then here's this one that comes down like that and comes up like that. Make them a little thick. And like I said, this is a really good lesson for what order to put things on in. And then there's one here. And there's another marking right here. Okay. And then I'm going to put black down the middle. I'm going to ignore the fact that there is a yellow stripe next to the red because it's just going to make it harder to do. I'm going to put the black down the middle of him, but I'm doing it this way. I turn things sideways because it helps me to draw a straighter line and also be out of your way so you can see what I'm doing without my hand in the way. There we go. And then we're going to do the silver on him as we did on the others. Oops, hang on, I have red on here. Oh boy, really got the red on there that time. I'm using my number 2 in the silver, and I'm just going to do the silver up here. And the silver wings kind of, or whatever they are, fins up there. And then these down here are also silver, so I'm just going to do those in silver. Okay, now if you have real silver and you want to dress it up, I suppose you could. This guy is fun. He's just red and white. There's not much you can do wrong with him. And so I'm going to paint him red and white. I'm going to get make sure that there we go. Okay. I'm using my number 2, and I'm just going to paint him red here. It's a little oily. I don't want it quite that oily. Let me get a little more paint in there. A little less oil, a little more paint, please. There we go. Okay. And then he has these circles on him, which I'm going to do with my pointer, because I'm more apt to get a circle with a pointer. Okay. So I'm going back into Carnation. It's my preferred red. And I'm just going to make these little circles up here. I didn't even know I had this pointer, this scroller, until the other day when I was going through my paint box and my box of brushes, and I saw it and I thought, I'm going to try it and see what it's like. Oh my gosh. It's wonderful. It has a real delicate tip on it, and it's very, very nice to use. So play with your brushes. Find one that you like. Okay. Now, I did this before on my mug, and I just went and did the sides because you'll lose the sides and you won't know where they are because it's white out here. And when you fire, it will fire out and you won't have any clue where you are. So now the other thing that I'm going to do, I need a really good pointy one of these guys. There are 2 fins on him. One here and one here. So just wipe them out right now. And that's an easy way to do it. And then we're on this final guy. I kind of like him. He's kind of interesting. He has a lot of strange colors on him. So I'm trying to see if you can, yeah, there you go. He has a red mouth. He's mainly yellow and green. So he's pretty easy. You don't have a lot of red and yellow touching, so you can probably do them both. But it's entirely up to you. And then we're going to go back and do the black on all. So here I'm doing yellow. And I'm going to do it up to about here. It will be green, but on this fire, I'm doing it in yellow because I want it to be a very pale green. And if I put too much green on it, it's going to be yucky, and I have to use the dark green. And sometimes my dark green fires the way it should, and sometimes my dark green doesn't. Okay, now my dark green, I'm going to apply with my liner, or this guy, scroller. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to go along this side, and you're just going to add in the darker green. And it goes all the way up. So this is the darkest green. And anywhere that you mess up, just go and touch it up. Okay, and then you want this to come off here. You want this to come off here. You want this to come off here. And then there's another one here. This could be a little smoother, so I'm just going to add a little more color back in. Okay. Probably shouldn't have done that, but luckily I've got my Q-tip, so let's just go down. Good. Okay. And then you got to keep going back in the color. You can't stop. You have to almost every time do the color. So there's a V here. And see, that's not dark enough, so you have to go back in and get a better dark. Because you want this dark enough so that when you put the green over it the next time, it'll still show. And then there's one of these guys here. And then there's like a Y here. So try to think of it as numbers or letters, whatever helps you get it to look right. Then there's a C here. And then up here at the top, they just have a few little lines. Okay. Now on his face, he's kind of a yellow, so I'm just going to use the yellow this time. I should have just covered it all with yellow. There. Just going to put a little yellow in it. I can put yellow over the rest of this later, but I don't want to mess up what I've done. And then I'm going to take my red, and I'm going to really clean my brush, and I'm going to use a totally different brush. I'm going to use my number 2. And I'm going to dip it in the red. I'm going to use blood red because I want his mouth to be really red. And I'm going to do it this way and down here. And then he has a actually bigger mouth than I have on here, so I'm going to come down, if you look at it, and like more like that. Okay. Okay. All right, so now you've got all the colors on. That's one of the hardest things. And for the first fire, these are the appropriate colors. This guy has a little thing at the end, so we'll do that. But let's start with, let's start by turning this fella, and he has just a dead eye. So we'll just paint it black. There we go. He has on the side here one of these barbs, and it's a 3-prong. You can make it 3-prong if you want, and then you have to just pull down on the edges to make the little barb. And if that's too thick, push against it, and then wipe, and you'll get a better outcome. Okay, so that's him. He's done. Now, if you want to outline this, you can, but I would wait until the next time because you're going to put more color on it. Alrighty, now we're on the red guy next to him. He has an interesting eye. I'm going to turn it this way. His eye is darker on the bottom than it is on the top. And then he has just a little eyeball. So just put a dot. Don't do anything fancy. I mean, you know, these aren't real fish. So don't knock yourself out too much. They're lures. You want the circle here. You want it to come down and go up. Oh, hang on a minute here. And go up here and here. And then there's a third one. Okay. And you want to put a barb on the end. And you want to put a circle at the top. And a straight line up and a hook. And I hooked mine over the top of the little line that was on the, I'll show you. See, on my mug has this little line on it, and so I hooked it over that, and I'm going to paint that brown. Okay, and then the other thing you want to do is just do this down here so it hooks up. Okay. This guy, all he has at the top is a little circle. He's a little close to the top of this tile for me. I'm going to just do this and do this. Put a little barb on there. Okay. We need an eye for him. His eye is kind of a C. So just do the C eye. And this little guy, he's easy. You do it up here and attach it. And his eye is all black with a white in the middle. So just try not to hit the middle. And you're going to want to do his little mouth like that. And then he has these poofs out the top. So I'm going to turn it over, push it up so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to do poof, poof. Oops, hang on, I need more oil. When you're doing something like this, you need a little more oil on your brush. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Let me get this off of here. Whoop, whoop. Okay, and then you're going to come up and hook over. And if they aren't real dark black, don't worry about them right now. You can do it on the next time. All right, those are those guys. Now we're going to do the bottom half. Okay, on the bottom half, you're going to do this guy here. You might hook these two together. You might want to put a circle here and put a barb on the side of him. And his eye is yellow on the outside, but I don't have yellow, so I'm just going to do it in black, like that. Because I don't want to go through the yellow with him. It's going to be too difficult. And I'm going to take one of these and just wipe out the center. And maybe I'll try this. Ah, there we go. These work really well. They're that cardboard that we were talking about earlier. And they really, really work well. So if you're stuck and you need a stump, that's what they're called. You can get them in all sizes, and they really lift the paint out, as you saw there. I couldn't get it out with anything else, but it worked with that. Now, if you want to put a barb on the top, you can. It comes out of the center, so you have to, there we go. And you just do this, pull it down, okay. That's probably not my best barb. Come here, you. then I'm going to push up here to make it a little thinner. There we go. And then pull down. Come on. Let's try it again. Okay, well, that's going to have to do. Alrighty. And now, this guy has a little circle here. And he's going to have his barb. And just like when you did the top of that one little guy here, up here, you want to make sure you have a lot of, not a lot, but you want to make sure you have oil on your brush. You can go over them the next time, that's fine. Now this guy has a big eye. And I'm going to have to push that red to the side here. And then he has a big eye in the middle. Like that. Okay? And we're on our final guy. We're going to do the circle at the top and attach it. His eye on this guy is a big circle here. And then it's a big circle in here. So just fill them in. And all we need to do is put his barb on top. There we go. And now I'm going to look at them, make sure I've got all the little stuff on the sides of them that they're supposed to have. This guy actually has a barb up here, it looks like, so it's probably one I missed. It's hard to tell what goes with what. There we go. And these guys need a little, hang on. I always found that pushing works better than pulling when you're trying to remove paint. If you can push it somewhere, it's more apt to follow what you want it to do. Okay, so this is all right. This has a little hook on the end of him. Let's put that little hook in there. Okay, he has a barb. He does, but it's hidden. He has a barb. Oops, he has a barb. I didn't see that one. I'll just do 2 on him. I can always put a 3rd one on later. Alrighty, now you might want to sign your name. This is what I have, and I'm going to put it in a frame when I get it done. This is only going to take 2 fires. If you're going to work on a mug, it takes a lot longer. It's harder to work on because I did the whole thing each time, which surprised me. I didn't think I could. But you tend to get your fingers in it a lot, so be very, very careful with it. Hold it inside if you can. And now I had this rib, and so I put the little hooks over that. That worked fine for me. I did 2 fires so far, but because I did these little ribs on the last fire with this, I still have to put the brown on and the brown down here. And I would have been afraid on the second fire to try to put the brown on because I would have messed up something. I know I would have. So it may take me 2 more fires with the brown to finish this off, but that's how it's going to end up looking. Pick up those brushes, keep painting. See you then. Bye-bye.